a sec. Watch me hold on a sec. I am totally holding on a sec. Oh, god damn it, it says live in the corner now.
That it does. This is what we call a setup.
Jerk.
It's how I roll.
Jerk. Shit.
All right, so welcome to episode 121 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Evidently, Naki blanked on her story. Those who have been listening to us for a while, you know we normally start the show with just kind of a rambling, odd story from Naki's past week because she works with children a lot, so there's generally ridiculousness that comes out of that.
What do you mean a lot? It is my job. I had 89 children in 1 hour.
Call Guinness, that's a record.
It was terrifying. It was just like my vagina's a clown car.
We had 3 at my house Friday night, and the little midget bastards ate all my grapes.
At least they ate your grapes and didn't break your comics or anything.
That's true.
Wow, you lost your grapes. I lost a bag of espresso beans to 89 children.
They ate your espresso beans?
One of them pickpocketed me when I wasn't paying attention.
Nice!
You work with some hooligans.
That kid gets points.
No, I wanted to punch them, because then they were all wired.
Yeah, I figured that was like a double whammy. First, they stole from you. Second up, they're just wired as all shit, so then you gotta deal with them for however long they're there. That sounds like hell.
It was terrible. It was a terrible idea, and I hate children.
Yet you work with children. This has got to be like hell on earth for you.
It is the worst job ever. It's not the worst job ever. I actually really like my boss, and she's been really great while I go back to school and stuff like that. But it would be great if it didn't have children involved. Unfortunately, I work in a kids area where I take care of other people's kids while they work out. So, yeah.
Yeah,
great.
I'm sorry.
It's awesome.
I really am.
I hate children.
I like the job that I had when I was teaching kids, but that's because I was allowed to kick them, so
I
it makes
almost
a
did
huge
kick
difference.
It was great. This one kid wanted
Are you
to
saying you like punted children? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I was an ATA martial arts instructor.
Oh, you could
Taekwondo
legitimately
to
punch
kids.
children. I
Yeah,
see
I
what
could
you mean.
literally
Now.
punch and kick children. It was an amazing
Wow.
job. And their parents paid me to punch and kick their children. It was great.
I need that job.
Well,
So
maybe. Go ahead.
As just like future reference, if you ever have a child later on, because who knows, you two might decide, like, hey, I want a mini-me.
No.
If you teach your kid to get your attention by pinching the back of your knee, your kid's going to get kicked many times.
As they should.
Yeah,
Because
that's not good. Who taught their kid that?
I don't know,
Some
but
douchebag.
some douchebag decided that it was a good idea to teach their kid that. So I had this little 2-year-old pinching the back of my knee for like 4 hours, and I'm sitting there like, I can't kick you because I'll get fired. But it's reflex for me to kick you.
So I misspoke, everyone. We just got the Naki story a little delayed this week.
There you go.
Well, that's what you get for distracting me in the first 50 seconds of the show.
How did I? Never mind.
I am easily distracted. There are shiny objects all around.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Shiny.
Butterfly. Why is there a butterfly in the house?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, how'd you get a butterfly in your house? I could see maybe a moth, but butterfly?
Probably the same way there's a squirrel in your house.
I see it outside because my deck window is like right here.
Okay, yeah, whatever. There's a squirrel in your house.
Yeah. Well, if there was, my dog would eat it, or the cat would. Either or.
Boyfriend's cat fell asleep plotting my demise.
Most cats do plot demise because cats are dicks. That's one thing I've learned in life.
I'm really allergic to cats, and so whenever I spend the night here, she of course sleeps like right next to my face. And so like this morning I woke up and I'm like staring off into space, and I noticed his cat is next to me, and she's like giving me the evilest eyes ever because that's what she does. She hates me or she loves me. I'm not really sure because I'm allergic. And all of a sudden her eyes like started to close, and she like stretched out her paws and tapped me on the face and fell asleep. I'm like,
She's like, I'm watching you.
I'm like, oh, creepy.
She's gonna murderize you.
She's gonna murderize me with her paws.
That's what I'm saying. But I do want to apologize for everyone who is watching live today. I have to leave a little early to go to a local con, so we're going to cut the show short about 15 minutes today. So since we're doing that, we should probably just roll into our news. Any takers for first?
I'll go first.
Sweet. I'm going to put $5 down and say Naki's talking about the greatest show ever, Arrow.
Well, I'm 2 episodes into season 2, so
Sweet.
There's that. Apparently, boyfriend has them all on his DVR, so I've gotten to watch.
I was going to ask if you were watching season 2 because my buddy and his kid finished season 1, and now they're waiting for season 2 to show up on Netflix.
Yeah, it would be great if it showed up on Netflix. Right now, he has like 17 episodes on his DVR.
Nice.
So
Fantastic.
I can watch some of it.
But I was
But
joking. I didn't think you were seriously talking about Arrow based off of what was on TV last night.
Haha. All right. So what happened last night? It was the season premiere of Doctor Who. Woo! Peter Capaldi.
So, was he a good doctor in your opinion?
It was his first episode. It's too hard to tell what kind of doctor he's going to be. Because if you watch Doctor Who, or the first episode when they first regen they haven't quite established who they are because they're trying to figure out what happened and why they regen. It was not a bad episode. As per usual, my complaint is Moffat does not know how to write women or any supporting cast ever. This is my problem with Sherlock. It's my problem with Who. It's been an ongoing problem with him. I really wanted the end of the episode for Capaldi to be leaning out the TARDIS, waving at Clara, waving goodbye, and just saying like "fuckity bye" and just leaving her.
Well, we know she's leaving halfway through this season, roughly. Isn't that what
No,
the case is?
No, it's the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
Christmas. It's the "fuckity bye" comes from Peter Capaldi was in a television show where he basically just swore, and that was his job. So.
I want this job.
I think it was what was it
That's
called?
a good
The Thick
job.
of It. It was called The Thick of It, or In the Thick of It, something like that. And played a man named Malcolm, and he that's one of the things he would say is "fuckity bye." And I really wanted him to be like, "Yeah, fuck out, Clara, fuckity bye." As for the show itself, it was okay. It was. I don't know if it's gonna. Last season of Doctor Who, not including the Christmas special and the 50th anniversary, was one of the worst seasons, honestly. Like, I couldn't get through an episode without falling asleep. And then, so it was like, I can't stand Clara. We've talked about this last episode. She's Clara Boring's when Boring's bald. I don't give a shit about her. Nobody cares. I'm glad she's gone. Or will be gone. The problem that I have is I really, really want good, strong supporting cast like we had with Eccleston and we had with Tennant. You know, I never disliked Matt Smith. He was not a bad doctor. He was just given really shitty script. And I hope that they don't do this with Capaldi. They've already made tossbacks to their callbacks to Tennant's run in the first episode. They made callbacks to Matt Smith's run. The thing that I had the biggest problem with was I couldn't remember what happened to make Matt Smith regenerate, because that's how shitty that episode was.
Wasn't he in this episode, like,
Ouch.
briefly? That's what I'd heard.
Yeah, he was. And it was that's like a first, that's not a special type thing. So, I mean, yay for that, but it was, like, I literally couldn't remember what happened to Matt Smith, so I had to go back and read in Wikipedia because I was like, I don't remember what the fuck is going on. And it was okay. Like, it was okay. I'm going to give it, I'll watch the season and see if I decide, or not the season, I'll watch a couple episodes.
Naki, this season of Doctor Who is going to be like the Cape was for me. You just can't quit it even when you want to.
I know. I should have quit after
I like
David
the
Tennant.
No, you can't
wrong
like the
with you?
Cape.
It was a superhero show, and I like David Lyons. I think
It
he's
was a
fun
bad
actor.
superhero show.
So I still liked it.
Ugh.
In the chat room, Chris Hansen has said swearing as an art form. There's a movie for Capaldi as Malcolm called In the Loop, and maybe that should be the new subtitle for this show. Swearing as an art form.
I really think so. Now, to be fair, everyone who's listening right
yes.
now, hearing us talk about Doctor Who, the only person on this show that watches Doctor Who right now is Naki, so we really can't put any great feedback in because we don't know much about the subject material. That being said, I fully admit I've been curious about the show. I'm trying to figure out where to jump on. I did ask last night on Twitter. I was asking people, so what do you guys think of the Doctor Who premiere? And I heard from Francis Fernandez at Sorta Geek, who we know from our other podcasting ventures. He said Doctor is good, Companion is good, and writing was mediocre. Oh, and the new intro is retro, which was neither good or bad.
It's very steampunkish, so I'm like, now we got steampunk Doctor. I don't know. I disagree with his companion. We've already heard my rant.
Yes, we know you greatly dislike the companion.
She's fucking stupid.
I reiterate, Naki greatly hates the companion.
It's not even that she's stupid. It's just that she's poorly written. She had like Amy Pond, she had great potential, but then she fell in love with the Doctor, and now I don't give a shit.
Fair enough.
The greatest companions, like my favorite one by far is Donna Noble. If they brought back Donna Noble, I'd watch Doctor Who forever.
What if they brought back Jack Harkness?
Obviously, I'd watch Doctor Who forever. But
They can't. He's Malcolm Merlin, damn it.
I know. He's a badass.
yeah, he did. He's dead. He did.
Yeah.
He did. Shut up, he did. I say he did.
You know we've talked about on this show before how he's now a season 3 regular, right?
You know that I like space out every time you start talking about Arrow, so I don't have to listen to that.
You gotta remember, Naki, even if he is dead, it's a comic book show. And in comic books, nobody stays dead.
Nobody stays dead.
I say he did. In the chat room, Draftsman, it says, I honestly have a hard time watching Doctor Who. I really fell off the wagon after Tennant's 10th Doctor. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's
a lot of people
basically
just...
me. I watched all of Eccleston, all of Tennant, and I think on my Netflix queue, I'm halfway through the first season of Matt Smith. And it's not that I disliked it, I just, stopped watching it.
I think the complaint I've heard from a lot of people is Tennant was like the high point of Doctors for them. That they really enjoyed it so much that everything after that kind of felt like a letdown, and that was a lot of their complaint. Maybe part of that's because of the writing too. I don't know.
That's after Tennant left. Russell T Davies stepped down, and that's when Moffat took over. When Moffat took over, they basically rebooted the entire universe because that's what he does. If you watch Sherlock, you know this as well. He does this after every season or series. Is that the whole place is rebooted? It's terrible. So everything that happened up until Tennant is no longer like it's kind of relevant, but not really relevant because they kind of brought it back for the 50th anniversary, but they really didn't. It was still basically Matt Smith, you know. It was basically a Moffat rub fest.
Well, Draftsman has some more feedback for you in the chat room. He says, Naki, be nice to the other companions. Do not let your love of the Doctor fill you with jealousy. We learned to share the Doctor with Jack Harkness. You have to share with Clara.
But no, Clara and Jack have never met, so I don't. Haha.
But they could, because Jack's immortal.
They could, but I think they've said that he's not coming back.
I know, I'm bummed.
Boyfriend and I were actually having that discussion yesterday if Torchwood will ever come back, and I think after Miracle Day they called it.
They said they could, but they don't seem too interested.
Well, Miracle Day kind of tanked over here. But that's because they didn't have the normal writers of Torchwood on it. It was people from Starz, the network, not actual Starz. But
I didn't think Miracle Day was bad, honestly. It was just different.
It was different, but it because it was so different, most fanboys of Torchwood it tanked. But yeah, so after the thing is that I know a lot of people that Tennant was their high point. I know I called Tennant my doctor. I loved Eccleston. I never really watched much Classic Who. I've watched some of Fourth Doctor, because that everybody knows the Fourth Doctor. Everybody knows Tom Baker. Everybody knows Peter Davidson. It was just kind of I've seen a handful of Classic Who. I don't have much to compare it to. But if I was going to say that one of them was my doctor, it's Tennant. When Matt Smith came on, a lot of people had the complaint that he's just too young. He's too young of a doctor, and he was too childlike and very much like he had the mind of a 5-year-old. It was kind of weird. I didn't mind him. Like I said, I never minded the doctor. The companions is what pissed me off, and they still piss me off. And that's all. Okay, that's all. I'm the only one who watches Doctor Who. Kind of like when you guys talk about Arrow, and I tune out because I'm just like.
But you watch Arrow now.
I do, but I'm gonna tune out every time you talk about it because otherwise I'm gonna get spoiled. So.
I thought it was fantastic when Arrow nuked the whole city in the season 2 finale.
I'm glad he does that. I'm glad. I still don't understand why it's called Starling City and not Star City. I don't.
Well, there's actually some theory from the trailer they showed at Comic-Con. They're showing a glimpse of like a travel brochure or whatever, where they now start calling it Star City. So there's talk that they're going to drop the Ling off of there because of all the bad shit that's happened, so they need to rebrand. Is one of the conspiracy theories.
I think that's why I've had like a disconnect from that in the comics. Not because it's of Starling City or anything, but I think like it just never felt like Green Arrow to me.
It's not supposed to. It's Batman.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say it's Batman.
It's Batman.
Rich guy being angry. That's pretty much what I've gotten. Which luckily it's fun, but
I still argue that it's not Batman at all.
It's still not Arrow. It's Green Arrow.
It's very Nolan influenced. That's what I would say.
It's very Nolan influenced, but the Oliver Queen on this TV show does most of what he's doing to protect his family. Bruce Wayne has never done a damn thing to protect his family. He doesn't have any fucking family. They're all dead.
My parents are dead.
Therefore, it's not Batman.
So, looking at the time, I'm going to move us on to our next story. This one had me a little bummed. Do you guys watch Mythbusters? I'm a big fan of Mythbusters just because I like all the stuff they do. And this was the season finale this week. And at the very end of the show, they had like a 3-minute video bumper where basically Jamie and Adam came on the show and said, oh, yeah, the other guys you know, Carrie, Jamie, I can't talk. Grant. And Tori, they are off the show now. They're going back to their roots where it's just going to be Adam and, Jamie doing the myths. So the build team is gone after this season, and their send-off was like a 2-minute video thing at the end of the show. And I was sitting there and I was like, this just seems like a crap way to say bye to these guys.
It really does. Like, I heard about it over the internet, so...
Yeah, it seems like it was kind of rushed.
It does, and at the same time, it doesn't seem like they're too pissed off about it. When you go and look at all their tweets, it's all thanks for the amazing ride, couldn't have done it without you guys, things like that, and there's no one really being like, oh, screw you, Discovery, for firing us or anything like that. Conspiracy theories.
I wonder if they're going to do a spin-off show.
That was the thought, is that get a show somewhere else. A lot of people are starting to think it's because Mythbusters' ratings have declined some, which is going to happen when you've been on the air for over 10 years, that they're trying to cut the budget some. But still, that was half the fun, was seeing how those two different teams did all sorts of cool, crazy myths. I don't know. It's going to get rid of... I think the chemistry gets all jacked up, and just from a fan, I'm a little bummed. I just wanted to whine, honestly.
It is a really good show. I've never watched an episode and regretted watching one.
Right. And if it's on a marathon, I'll get sucked into it. But
their Star Wars ones this season were fantastic.
I can't say that I ever go out of my way to watch it.
I put it on the DVR, it just records, and then I watch it when I've got the time. It's a good evening show when I don't want to do much besides sort through some stuff and have background noise. Mythbusters does the job. And then I tune in when there's explosions and cool stuff. Because I don't always care about all the myths.
In the chat, Chris says that he actually liked the build team more than Adam and Jamie. Which, I always liked Grant. I thought, I never had a problem with Carrie or Tori, but I tend to, favor Grant more. I don't know why. I think they all were knowledgeable and knew what they were talking about.
Well, they always feel like they're having so much fun. That was the cool thing.
Yeah. Well, they got to explode things.
Yeah, seriously. They do have one of the best jobs in the world. So, good luck to those guys moving forward. I hope they get to do something else, because the 3 members of the build team have great chemistry together, so they could do another Mythbusters-like show, and I think a lot of people would still watch.
Myths being busted.
Pretty much. But that was my news this week. It was a little bit of a bummer, and I just wanted to whine on the internet because this is my platform for whining, damn it.
Whine on the internet.
Whining on the internet.
Whine.
So I'm going to toss it to Anthony so he too can also whine on the internet like me.
Yeah, because I'd like to keep things positive, but it's really hard when fucking Marvel cancels 2 of the titles that you pick up every fucking month. God damn it! Everybody knew it was coming.
More money in my
One of
pocket.
them. And it was one of those things, everybody knew it was coming for one of the titles, and everybody pretty much assumed it was going to happen eventually to the other one. New Warriors and Superior Foes of Spider-Man will be ending in November. Superior Foes started off during the whole Superior Spider-Man thing when they branched out to everything, and just a crazy-ass book with Boomerang leading a team of B and C-list Spider-Man villains to pull off capers, and Spider-Man's not even in the book, but it's some of the best, like, storytelling, jokes. It's the funniest Marvel book being published right now, but sadly it's going away. And it was ones where when they passed their year mark, like they were so aware of the fact that they were real low on the sales charts, were likely to get canceled. Their solicitations of the last several issues actually said still not canceled in the solicitation. So they knew that, they knew the axe was coming. And then New Warriors, the book that got me into comics. Sadly, the 5th volume will be ending with issue 12, so it's another 1-year run on the New Warriors. Which, yeah, Marcus Toe's artwork's been amazing. Christopher Yost's storyline was great. Just not enough people reading it. So to the 17,000 people reading those 2 books, thank you. And to everybody else that wasn't, fuck you bastards!
I have New Warriors. I have all of the New Warriors. I haven't read them, but I have them.
I wasn't reading it, so I will gladly accept the harsh words sent my way.
All the New Warriors. Issue 1 of the original series up to issue 8 of the current volume 5. I have every issue of the New Warriors. That is my team. That will be sad.
I know. I'm bummed for you. You guys want some happier news then to make you
Yes.
feel good?
Is it the
Happy
Simpsons
good
marathon?
times.
Because I've been watching the Simpsons marathon.
Well, I wasn't even going to bring that one up, but now that you bring it up, I have seen one episode in it just because I keep forgetting it's on and where FXX is on my TV guide. Has it been good?
It has been they've just been playing all of the episodes in order. I watch it when I'm on my downtime, and it's really wonderful. Or while I'm falling asleep. Keith has been DVRing his favorite episode. And he did Lisa versus Malibu Stacy for me, which is one of my favorite episodes. The dental plan episode. They've just, you go back and you watch these older episodes and they're like, oh my god, nostalgia. Right now they're in season 7.
And you also remember how good The Simpsons used to be.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that like some of the stuff from seasons 1 through 7, at least, because that's where we're at right now, is still relevant to these days. It's wonderful. It's great.
It takes you back to a Homer that wasn't just a buffoon. It was a Homer that made dumb mistakes, but you could still consider like a good father and trying to be a good person. Current day Homer Simpson is just an idiot.
They just did the episode where Lisa finds out that Jebediah Springfield is a hoax. He used to be a pirate who killed people, or mass murdering pirate, and you get to see right there where Homer is trying to be a good dad. I don't know if that's still relevant. Like I said, I haven't watched it, in the past 5 years at least. I'll catch it if I'm trying to watch Bob's Burgers when it actually airs, but I'm never usually home on Sunday night.
I watched the Lego episode. It was fantastic, but that's because it was Legos.
Legos!
I'll give them this much. They can still, when they're on their game, they can still put out a great episode, because the Treehouse of Horror episode is still really good, because I'll watch those. And then the Lego episode was really good, because motherfucking Legos. Pardon my language.
I don't think there's been a TV show in the history of television that does like a holiday special as well as The Simpsons does Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the Treehouse of Horrors.
Like I don't think there's ever been a bad Treehouse of Horror, which is amazing after 28 years.
522 episodes.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous. And I think they're going to put all those on the FXX app eventually so you can stream them all too, is what I've heard.
Which will be wonderful, because then I'm just going to stream all the old episodes and love them. In the chat room, Draftsman says his favorite old episode was Marge versus Cartoon Violence.
That's a good one.
The company softball team. Her and Homer is a bad copy of Peter Griffin, which is almost like being a bad copy of a bad copy. True. There is going to be a Simpsons Family Guy crossover episode. They've been advertising it.
I'm a little intrigued by that.
I'm a little intrigued, but I'm basically just like, but Family Guy is just a rip-off of Simpsons, so, you know, there's that.
Yeah. Oh, so I got some breaking news just popped up in my timeline. According to Box Office Mojo, Guardians of the Galaxy just broke $251.9 million, making it the #1 summer movie in the United States for this year.
Nice. Yeah, which a lot of people said it was going to do it because apparently Expendables went.
Yeah, I heard Expendables was really bad. Which also, bringing that up, that gives me a nice segue for what I was going to bring as my positive news for you guys. You know, everyone loved the Dancing Groot in a pot. Well, Funko is officially putting one out that you can buy. It is a Dancing Groot, baby Groot in a pot that bobbleheads. So if you can find it when it comes out, good luck. I don't think these are going to be easy to find.
I want it, I want it, I want it.
I think you and everyone else who's seen that movie wants it is the problem.
I believe it's the glow-in-the-dark version of that is what everybody just got in their loot crate this month.
It was it was a Groot that glows in the dark, not Groot in a pot.
Yeah, it is the adult Groot. It glows in the dark. I'm staring at it right now because boyfriend gets loot crate. I'm debating stealing it from him. He's already aware of my intentions, though, so I think he's just going to go through my bag before I leave.
So you're going to keep it? What does it matter? If you cohabitate eventually, then half of this stuff's yours and just claim that as yours.
That's true. I can just be like, it's mine forever. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Queen wave.
Let's see. Looking at the time. Okay, here's another one I've got. I didn't have a ton of news pulled aside this week, guys, and I apologize. But supposedly, the Doctor Strange movie is going to skip the origin route, is what they're hearing online. Badass Digest had the news, and they made an appearance on the Meet the Press movie podcast, and they said, quote, so far for Doctor Strange, they've had a script in-house forever. It is a pretty standard origin story for Doctor Strange. It's got Baron Mondo as the bad guy. That's all gone. Marvel's new thing is no more origin movies. So Doctor Strange movie no longer has an origin. It begins in media res. It has Doctor Strange already established as the Sorcerer Supreme. It is a totally new script. John Spates is working on a totally new one on his own without any of the previous stuff, not even touching the previous script. So they've started from scratch on Doctor Strange to avoid the origin story. And that's one of the biggest complaints about new comic properties is they always feel like they need to do an origin story route. So do you guys think this is the right path?
Yes. Ta-da!
I don't know.
That was succinct.
With a third-tier character like Doctor Strange, I think you need the origin story, just like we needed it with the first Iron Man movie. I don't think we need a new fucking origin story for Spider-Man when they do the new trilogy 6 years from now. I don't think we need a new origin story for Batman when the new Batfleck is released. But for a character that really outside of comics, who knows who Doctor Strange is?
Well, so let me propose two possible ways they might be able to do something. What if they sprinkle some of that in the story itself, or what if they follow the Incredible Hulk model and basically use the opening credits to tell the origin story?
If they do that, I think that'd be a better story.
Yeah, because it's got to be something where you either have that or you have flashbacks during the current story. Because, yeah, you can't... Because, I mean, just, this guy has magic abilities. Like, well, what the fuck does that entail? What can he actually do? You know, they're going to have to set down hard, fast rules for what magic is in the Marvel Universe. Because other than, Thor and the Asgardians, actual magic hasn't really been covered in the Marvel Universe of films. And so they need to set down, rules on what can and can't be done. And if it's just, here's, Doctor Strange blasting shit with the Eye of Agamotto, and nobody knows what that is or what it does, I think it could be really confusing to a mainstream audience.
I think that's possible, too. I'm intrigued by the fact that Marvel's finally getting, we don't have to do an origin for all this. I mean, this is one of our first, from a big studio, big publisher, superhero movies to come out where they haven't done an origin movie first, if that's the case. Aside from, Guardians was an origin of the Guardians team, so...
I'm interested. Like, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do there. I mean, like Anthony said, outside of comic fans, who really knows who Doctor Strange is? But at the same time, they've proved us wrong with the Guardians movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm starting to think Ant-Man's going to be a flop.
I really hope it's not.
I hope it's not, too, but just
I like Ant-Man.
All of this
Paul Rudd, I'll love it.
That's true.
I don't care what it is, Paul Rudd, I'll love it. That dude's awesome. Well, I love it. One of the rumors I just saw that popped up on my Twitter feed or Facebook feed this morning was apparently Joseph Gordon-Levitt's been talking to Marvel. Apparently he had a meeting, and so people are speculating now that he might be the one that they're looking at for Doctor Strange.
He's too young.
I don't know.
Actor,
I'm trying to think of who the last actor that they talked about for Doctor Strange. Oh, they mentioned
Joaquin Phoenix was the last I heard.
And I'll tell you what, I would much rather see a fucking JGL Doctor Strange than a Joaquin Phoenix Doctor Strange.
That's true.
That's all I know.
JGL could play. Oh God, what's his name? Oh shit, what's his name?
Describe the character if you can't think of his name.
Yeah.
No, I just got his comics last week. What was it? Warlock. He could play a really good Warlock.
Warlock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool with Adam Warlock. I want to see. I mean, has he ever played blonde before? He'd look weird blonde.
He would look weird. You know, he'd look weird blonde, but you know, if you've seen Looper, I mean, they could age him. They did age him very well in Looper. You know, they made him look like Bruce Willis, which was, you know, I know you guys are two straight men, but that is a good-looking man. Okay, that man brings classic. You know, he's just classy looking. So to make that man look like Bruce Willis was just, yeah, that was amazing work by a special effects team there.
Yeah, they did. That was a fun movie too.
It was.
JGL is like when Kevin Smith talks about Ben Affleck, he says Affleck could play the shark in Jaws. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt could play the fucking shark in Jaws. That kid can do anything he sets his mind to when it comes to acting. He's fucking spectacular. After seeing The Lookout and then seeing Don John, and you compare those two movies and those two roles, there's nothing that kid can't fucking do.
Don John was awesome.
I haven't seen Don John, but if you haven't seen 50-50 yet, holy shit.
Oh, 50-50 was great. But yeah, I mean, his directorial debut, he writes a movie where he's the main lead and the love interest is Scarlett Johansson. Oh, what a genius.
Well, I mean, the guy got to have sex scenes with Zooey Deschanel too, so.
Yeah, he's not a dumb kid. He's not a dumb kid.
I really like his movement to like put more indie stuff out on the market. It's called Push or it's called Record.
Oh, I think I've heard of it. I just don't remember much about it.
It's a really cool movement. It's, you know, if you have the time to do it, it's great. Because he puts out like challenges for new people to like join in and stuff like that, and it's actually really cool. But I haven't, you know, if I had time, I'd pay more attention to it. In the chat room, Chris says Brick is my favorite JGL movie. I'm really sorry. Earlier, I credited Draftsman with a Chris comment.
Brick was really good. That was a fun one.
I love how the chat room has impromptu broken out into doing the monorail song while we do the show from Simpsons. So kudos to you guys. It's fantastic. A couple other news points I had real quick, just because I popped up and saw these as I was looking for something else. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to have the Absorbing Man in the first episode, and they put the first screenshot out of him, and he looks like the Absorbing Man.
Yep.
And then they've also announced... yeah, they've also announced that Mockingbird, Bobby Morse, will be joining Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it was announced that Adrian, how do I say her name, Palicki? Who played Lady J in G.I. Joe Retaliation, who was also originally slated to be Wonder Woman in the last TV reboot.
Well, there was Wonder Woman who shot the pilot. She actually was Wonder Woman, and sadly for her, it was a David Kelly flop Wonder Woman. But yeah, she gets to be a superhero. Because yeah, Adrian Palicki, she's a hot, badass looking chick.
I like what I'm hearing for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 to try and keep people interested or bring people back. I don't know.
I like the ad they showed for what's his name that turned on the team, and it just says, "What will he become?" I was like, "Ooh, I kind of like that teaser. Like that character's not going away.
I haven't seen any of those ads.
Yeah, it was just a little picture of him sitting there like in a suit, and it just says, "What will he become?"
That's intriguing.
Like, that's a nice teaser.
Ever since he made his turn, he's become the most interesting character on that show for me.
Yeah, because he was just like the straight alpha male with almost like he was just fucking white bread. Like there was nothing about that character that really made you care about him, other than when he started, you know, taking care of Skye a little bit and becoming her trainer. Like that gave him a little bit of character, but yeah, he was just kind of he was just blah. And then yeah, it's like, oh shit, That turn, okay, he's a little more interesting now.
Yes. I was enjoying it. What was I thinking? Oh, there's also a billboard up in LA, I guess. I saw a screenshot of it. That if you remember the season finale, Coulson starts scrawling a bunch of stuff out in alien handwriting.
Yeah.
This billboard is just covered in that alien handwriting. It doesn't even say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything on that.
Well,
I was like, that's interesting marketing. So, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, somebody had a theory of what that is an electronic diagram of. And now I can't remember what it was, but it was a cool idea.
There's a lot of theories it's Kree stuff, something Kree related.
Oh yeah, that it would be something to create the Kree Supreme Intelligence.
That's it. I don't know if they're going to do that on the television show or not, but that'd be interesting.
It would connect them to Guardians of the Galaxy.
It would. And so I'm looking at the time right now. I did say we need to leave a little early. I did, before we start wrapping things up, I have a Super Dick Mode moment for you guys. And for those that aren't familiar,
man!
Anyone who's on the show, one of our regular hosts or guest hosts, can call the word Super Dick Mode, and no one else is allowed to talk until we rant and rave about whatever has pissed us off is completed. So, as for myself, I'm going into Super Dick Mode, and because I'm really fucking pissed off with the last Tomb Raider game, and I enjoyed playing it, things like that, but I've played through it now, and 3 separate times it has glitched out and destroyed my save file. So this third time, and I went online and researched it, and basically all it says on there is like, oh, you should have been saving in multiple save slots. You'll have to start over from scratch. And I was like, fuck you. I'm 75% of the way through the game. I've put 10 hours in. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm done with this game. And I got pissed off and threw the game box across the room because I was angry. And it was not the most mature of things, I realized. But if that's your response, you're not even going to put a patch out on today's modern consoles where they patch everything. You're not going to patch anything so these errors don't go away on a game that's been out for 6-8 months now? That's bullshit. So fuck you guys. I'm angry. And this Super Dick Mode was just to help channel my Adahay-like feelings towards a game. And I'm done being a dick. It was angry.
Nicely done.
I don't know. If it only happened once, I might have been able to live with it. But considering this is like the third time the game is glitched out and I've had to start from scratch... At least the first two happened when I was...
The company actually put out a statement saying that you should have been saving in multiple spots because we know about this problem, but we don't care.
If you go on the support forums for Square Enix site, since they're the ones in Crystal Dynamics that built the game, that's basically what it says on there. They go, yeah, we know there's some glitches in there. In order to alleviate this, you should save in multiple save game slots, so if one of your save slots goes bad, you can roll back to an older version of the game. And I was like, that's horseshit. Yeah, because what happens for me, when I load the game now, I resume my autosave, it basically just blacks out the screen, I hear all the background noise, and nothing else happens. I can't hit buttons besides the Xbox button to go back to the main screen, I can't pause, I can't do anything. So it's completely broken. You can't go back and revert anything. And it's just a corrupted save game file.
Yeah, that definitely sucks. So, I mean, yeah, it's good advice that's on their website, that you should be, saving on multiple different lines on your card or on your hard drive, but at the same time, yeah, they should be fucking... If they know it's a known problem with their software, they should be patching it.
Well, I mean, considering they still patch stuff on the 360, like, come on.
My guess is that all these companies send out games that aren't completed and just patch the fuck out of them for the first 6 months.
Oh yeah, my guess is this is an issue that's not easy to fix, and it's a game that's been out for so long that they don't really care at this point. But from my standpoint, who I enjoy playing games, and I don't necessarily give as much time as I want to anymore, if I've put 10, 12 hours into a game and the only solution is to start over again, that's bullshit. I don't want to start over again. I'm almost beating the game, and now you're telling me to start over? No. That's no-go. I'll go back and replay something like Titanfall or things like that where there's not much story to it, but at least it's fun. I don't have to worry about it crashing and corrupting all my save files.
I need to play more Borderlands.
But that was my rage that came out there, and I apologize for raging and some of the profanity that was in my tirade.
No apologies. There's no apologies in dick mode.
In the chat room, Jasmine said Chris needs a patch for a condom he wears during Super Dick Mode.
Wait, what?
I don't understand. I thought maybe
I don't know.
Super condoms.
Super condoms for Super Dick Mode. That way you get angry, but nobody gets pregnant.
Pregnant's a bad word, man. That's like a 4-letter word that's not truly 4 letters, if you know what I'm saying.
Baby? B-A-B-Y. There you go. Baby.
Very.
Let's wrap up the show in our traditional way. We'll just share what we've been getting into, what we're going to be getting into in the time coming up. I'll go first. I'm going back to the West Virginia Pop Culture Con this afternoon to play some more X-Wing the miniature game. And I, like I said, I've been playing Tomb Raider, and I've been rewatching Chuck on Netflix, and I forgot how much I enjoyed that show. And it still actually works, a lot of the stuff in there.
Ugh.
So go back and watch Chuck, people. It's really good.
Chuck is fantastic.
I'll have to watch it for a first time.
How about yourself, Naki? What have you been getting into?
I've been watching The Simpsons, as we have discussed. I am reading Cold Days of the Dresden Files, so I've got one more book after that one. I go back to school this week, so my reading will decrease by a whole lot. I have already gotten assignments, and I haven't even started class yet, so awesome. I'm also on the hunt for a chemistry tutor just because of this, so yes.
Chemistry's the devil.
I've never taken a chemistry class before.
I had
Ever.
to take
I've
it
never
in
had
college.
to.
It was terrible. I hated it.
Never had to take a class before in chemistry, and now I have to for accounting because that makes sense. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
How about you, Anthony? What you been getting into?
I finished reading Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining, yesterday. That is a great, crazy, creepy-ass book. It's definitely not as scary as The Shining, but it is a really good sequel. Find out what happened to little Danny Torrance after he grows up into an adult. Sadly watched Smooth Benson Henderson lose a fight last night on UFC on a really good fight card, but it was a good fight, but he lost. It was so sad. I will be here next week, but the following week I will be gone because I will be at the SLCC, so I will not be in the state of Idaho. I'll be down in Utah for the first time.
Bum, bum, bum. There'll be
Beware
no
of
beer
the
there.
Mormons. Beware of the Mormons.
Yeah, beware of the Mormons. I'm going to go down, hopefully get me a sketch by Ryan Otley, hopefully meet Stephen Amell and Manu Bennett. Basically, like, half the cast of Arrow is going to be there. Like, the list of celebrities showing up is fucking insane. So
Stephen
it's going to be a
Amell.
blast.
Stephen Amell is really nice. I was his stagehand at New York Comic Con a couple years ago.
I'm hoping that they're like seated next to each other. I want to get a picture like between the two of them, like so I'm like pushing them away from each other. I think that'd be a great photo. But yeah, doing that. Started watching Archer. Finished rewatching
Yes.
Firefly again. Getting through some
Archer.
shows.
Welcome to the danger zone.
Yeah, Netflix Walleye Color is awesome. Some really good comics too. That giant stack. I finally started to get through some of them. The grand finale, Kick-Ass 3. Actually is the end. It has a wrap-up. It has credits as if you were watching a movie at the end. So, I mean, it is done, and it ends really fantastic. It's a great book. Anybody that wasn't reading Kick-Ass is missing out. Dry Spell #2 from Action Lab Danger Zone. This is possibly the weirdest, craziest superhero book that's out there right now, where you're, like, at the end of the second issue, I still really don't know what's going on. It's amazing. Amazing Spider-Man, speaking of amazing. #5, they got Silk running around. You found out in the original Sin storyline that another girl was bit by a spider right after the spider bit Peter Parker, and she's been basically kept in captivity this whole time. So that's been some crazy stuff. But yeah, good comics coming out, good stuff.
Get Lumberjanes. I like Lumberjanes.
Actually, I just got Lumberjanes. The Humble Bundle for that just ended for comics was 144 issues of Boom Comics for $15.
That's
if
not
you bought
bad.
the whole thing. Yeah, so the only of all the books that they had on the Humble Bundle, the only ones that I actually already owned were the 4-issue miniseries of Hacktivist. So basically, I got 140 comics that I didn't own for $15.
Not bad.
Yeah, which in that was included the trade for Six Gun Gorilla, which I was going to go buy at the con, which probably would have cost me $15 by itself. So yeah, that's probably the best Humble Bundle I've seen in a long time. Like, sadly, I couldn't get the Image one because I owned like 80% of the comics that was in the bundle, so it wasn't even worth paying like the low $5 or $6 price to get the average whatever, just because I owned almost all of them. But yeah, that Boom one, it was nice because I only owned one of those titles.
Very nice.
Keep your eye on the Humble Bundle, people. Save you some money.
Well, before we wrap up, Dressman did say in the chat room, rather, chemistry is black magic, making my father a chemical engineer, a warlock, and dabbler of the dark arts.
And it does make him part of the Warlock family, which explains why he's hunted by demons and can see behind a veil of reality.
This is
Nice.
This is deep.
So
guys. We need to make a comic book
Warlock?
about this. That's what I seriously think. Comic
Maybe I
book,
should quit
man.
making fun of him.
Yeah,
I
we're gonna
don't
put a
make
hex
fun
on
of
you
him.
using his chemical engineering powers, man. You're effed then.
That's not good.
So, guys, I think that's going to wrap us up for episode 121 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we stream live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and do the math from there because I don't want to.
No math!
Over at live.atgnpodcast.com. You can find us over at atgnpodcast.com or gonageeknetwork.com to get access to our back catalog of random craziness and insanity because there's a lot of it. But that's going to wrap us up for this week, guys, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Laters.